So I have a question. If Pennywise feeds on your greatest fears, and you have some really weird and abstract fear, would he, like, let's say you're afraid of Skittles. How would that work? It is directed by Andrew Muschietti and stars Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. Just to put this into context, I have not read the book that this is adapted from, Stephen King's book. I have not read it. And I also have not seen the TV movie from the 90s. I've seen little parts of it, and the parts that I have seen aren't scary. They're stupid. So I went into this fresh, and I didn't really know what to expect just because I didn't know the story too well. All I knew going in was that it's this clown named Pennywise, and he goes around town terrorizing kids, and it had something to do with dragging them into the sewer, and he was a demon maybe? That's sort of what I knew going in. And then after seeing it, that's about still what I know. And that's not a complaint at all. It's the character Pennywise is such a weird character. I understand that he feeds off of fear of kids, and that's how he survives. And something about how he only comes out every 27 years, that's still kind of a weird thing for me, but it's very difficult to wrap your head around. Maybe that's part of the reason that he's so scary, because he's very difficult to understand, and it's really easy to be afraid of something that you don't understand. I did think that that worked really well, though. It contributed to the unease that I felt while watching this movie. The kids in this movie were all very, very good. All the actors were good, and most of the characters I thought were good too. There were a couple that I thought were pretty underdeveloped. Everyone seemed to serve a purpose, but I thought that the Jewish kid and the little butcher's son, both of them were very underdeveloped, and I didn't think that they had much of a character except to contribute either a scare or something at the climax of the movie. The butcher contributed to something, but the Jewish kid really only served to give one of the bigger scares of the movie. I thought that because what he's afraid of is some painting of a woman who has a weird shaped face, almost like a crescent moon, and that was, I thought, the creepiest part of the movie for me. Everyone else was pretty good. Each one of them had a little bit of character, except for the ones that I just mentioned. Everyone seemed to do something. The fatter one, I think they called him Tits. He didn't do too much, I felt like. But, you know, he was there. He was fine. He didn't take away from anything. But other than those three, I thought that all of them were good. I thought that the relationship between, I think, Bill and Georgie was underdeveloped. Like, I did feel for him near the end of the movie when some things started to happen, but I didn't think that they did a good enough job setting up their relationship to where I didn't care as much as I think I should have. Even though both of them did a good job in the movie, both of the actors, all of the actors did a good job, but that one, I felt that relationship was a little weak. The bullies in the movie are easily my least favorite part. They were ridiculous and over the top and made no sense, had no real clear motivation except for one of them. He went somewhere. He actually did something later in the movie that I thought was sort of cool, but it was still stupid. I didn't like him. I didn't like any of the bullies, any of the rest of them. They were all stupid. They didn't really serve any purpose except to show that the kids were isolated. Let me talk about the opening of this movie. It's fantastic. It's very well shot. It's creepy. There's the part. It's the part where Georgie meets Pennywise in the sewer, and like his little boat falls down, and there's this drool, or there's water dripping down Pennywise's face that he doesn't seem to notice, or at least he never brushes it off. He never rubs it off. He just sits there the entire time with this creepy look on his face, and his eyes. One of them was looking at. I noticed this. One of them was looking at Georgie, but the other one was looking directly at the camera, and that was creepy as hell. It was really well done, but it creeped, very scary. And his eyes throughout the whole movie were really scary too, because his eyes would change color. There would be the lazy eye, and sometimes there would not be a lazy eye. Sometimes his eyes would dart all over the place. I don't know. He was scary though. I didn't. Jesus. And the design for Pennywise was really good, but again, very scary. The thing with this movie is that it's the imagery that gets to me, because there's a lot of scary and intense imagery in this movie. It's just so freaky, and this definitely is not the early 90s TV movie, because that one doesn't have anything scary about it. That one's just a stupid clown running around going, "Mha! Mha!" But this one is the really terrifying clown giving these kids horrifying hallucinations, and none of the adults believe them, so they just start to feel isolated and afraid, and therefore I felt afraid as I was watching it, and it's really, really well done. I thought the music was sort of subpar. It served its purpose. It did what it needed to do. It was happy when it needed to be happy, sad when it needed to be sad. It was tense when it needed to be. Wasn't ever as good as the music in the trailer. The first teaser trailer, where the kids are sort of, I think it's a kid laughing. The music in that trailer was very, very creepy. But there wasn't anything like that in the movie. That's pretty much all I have to say. But it is good. I would recommend it to anyone who wants to see it. It's well directed. It's well acted. It's a really good blend of practical and CG, I thought. And it's good overall. There's really isn't anything too bad about it except for what I listed. I didn't like the bullies. Some of the kids were underdeveloped. The music was subpar for the most part. There was also some weird clashing with the music, and what I mean by that is there would go from this creepy music to a song from the 80s. That was kind of stupid, like the scene where they're cleaning up the bathroom. I thought that felt pretty out of place. But yeah, other than that, this is a good movie. If you're a horror movie fan, go watch it. If you like Stephen King, go watch it. I'm gonna give this movie a 16 out of 20. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more Langford reviews in the future. See you next time.